I am very glad to be welcoming Robin McHaelen, who some of you might know. She has been doing national work for over 30 years in this space and has been advocating on the part of our LGBTQ youth for a very long time. She has done advocacy, education, professional development, and doesn't seem to be stopping. She is the founder and former executive director of True Colors Inc. and has trained more than 30,000 professionals across sectors, across the country, around affirming spaces for LGBTQ youth. And, in addition to all of that, Robin also teaches at the college level, is an expert human rights campaign trainer for All Children, All Families, and does a lot of DEI consulting through her own consulting for McHaelen Consulting Services. So I'll just say before Robin jumps on that, like maybe 10 years ago, I went to my first True Colors conference. And I remember seeing Robin on the stage, who was just brilliant with young people, like captivated. I don't know. It must have been 500 to, I don't know, Robin probably knows. The whole auditorium was full, and I was blown away by how many young people are in this space. All of them having the flag that resonated with their identity, all of them joyful, all of them bringing such like electrifying energy into the room. And Robin captivated all of them. And if you've been around teenagers ever, you know how difficult that is. Robin was just a superstar and had their full attention. And every year that conference ran continued to create amazing spaces for young people. So want to check in now to see if Robin is able to jump on. You can go ahead and turn on your camera, Robin, and then we can spotlight you.
You may also be muted, Robin.
Unmute.
There we go.
Okay. I can't seem to turn on my video, but I'm going to try in a second. Hold on a second. Let's see if that works. Let me shut that off. See if it works here. No, I don't know why, but my video will not turn on. I'm trying to start I have a hostess ask you to start your video. And I'm saying, okay, I'm trying to start my video, but I'm trying to start my video, but it won't start. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, so I am sorry that I cannot start my video. The long and short of it is that I'm not at home because my mother-in-law died, and we are in the process of clearing out her apartment, which is why it's sort of echoey in here. And I left my computer at home this morning, and so I just can't figure out how to turn the video on.
I think that's okay, Robin. We're grateful you're here, even in the midst of working through family stuff. So thank you for being here, and we can hear you loud and clear. So if you want to take it away, that's great.
Hey, Robin, I'm not sure if you muted again, but we're not able to hear you.
We might be able to, Kathy Krebs, if you're around and ready, we might be able to move to you first and give Robin a chance to sort of reset the technology.
I'm actually here, but the technology is not working. So I'll just go without the technology if that's okay.
Okay, thanks, Kathy.
All right.
See you in a second.
All right.
Go for it, Robin.
All right. Thanks so much, Angela. I apologize for the technology. I always say that I am a technology immigrant, not a technology native, and it's showing today. So I'm going to start this the way I usually start my conversations by saying that I have worked with lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, queer, questioning, two-spirit, same gender loving, pansexual, flexual, not straight, not labeling, straightish, straight so far, straight with options, straight but stuff happens, gender bending, bigender, pangender, agender, asexual, non-binary, and other sexual and gender minority youth for just over 30 years. I always start with the litany of the language when I'm having a conversation about LGBTQ plus folks, not because I have any expectation that people will remember any of that, but really to make two what I think are really important points. One is that the language is changing and how humans, especially young humans, are describing themselves and their experiences may be very different than many of us grew up with. Fortunately, we don't have to keep up. We just have to keep open. And at the end of the day, we can't keep up. All we can do is keep open. One of the reasons I have such a long list, and honestly, what I just gave you was my short list. The reason I have such a long list is that I often ask youth how they identify. I don't ask grown-ups because grown-ups get all cranky, but I do ask youth, so how do you identify? And then pretty much no matter what they say, I'm going to say something like, thank you for telling me. So what's it like to be a non-binary pansexual femme? Because just because I might know what all those words mean doesn't mean I know what they mean by those words. And so by opening the door and asking the question, they give them the opportunity to tell me more about what those words mean to them. Now, I will tell you, sometimes I say, thank you for telling me, would you like to tell me more about what it's like? And they'll say, no, that's all I wanted you to know. And then sometimes they'll go on for 15 minutes, right? And so it's really a great opportunity to make a connection with a young person and learn, or anybody that you're talking to learn more about who they are and how they experience the world. The second thing I want to say, and this actually comes from a line from a book that I read a long time ago that talked about how you can't keep up, but you can keep open. And you don't have to understand, you just have to accept and respect, right? So, in the reality, I'm a social worker by trade, right? So empathy is one of the, sort of the keys to my my work. But no matter how much empathy I have, I can't fully understand what it's like to be somebody else, to walk around the world in their skin. Fortunately, I don't have to understand. I just have to accept and respect. I want to close my piece out with just a couple of pieces about some things about the work that I think that has been most important for me over this time is that that when a young person comes out, and this is something that PFLAG says all the time, when a young person comes out, the whole family is on a journey, and that those of us who support young people have to also pay really close attention to what's going on with their families. I've worked a lot with Caitlin Ryan out of the University of San Francisco, and her really seminal research suggests that a couple of things that I think are really critical. One is that families love their children and want to do what's best for them. Even if we know that what they're doing is harmful, they think that what they're doing is in their kid's best interest because they want their kid to be happy and healthy, and they think that what they're doing is going to help them do that. Secondly, a family's first response is almost never their final response. That over time, families can move from very rejecting to at least ambivalent. And Caitlin's research is very clear that although the best outcomes are when families are supportive, and family response correlates with every single risk factor you can name for LGBT youth: suicidality, substance abuse, cutting, running away, smoking cigarettes, all those things correlate with family rejection. But families do not have to transform themselves to make room for their children. They just have to figure out how to make enough space, because the difference between rejecting and affirming is huge. The difference between affirming and ambivalent is still, it's better to be affirming, but it's less harmful to be ambivalent. And that tells us that we can work with families, that we can help them learn to become allies for their children. And we can also help prevent them from becoming their child's first bully. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm actually going to say one more quick thing. You know, with everything that's going on in the world right now, families of LGBTQ plus folks of any age are very nervous and scared. And they need reassurance, and they need recognition that those of us who are allies, especially for trans and non-binary folks, that those of us who are allies we need to step up. We're the ones who need to be, advocating and amplifying the voices of our trans and non-binary siblings, and fighting back openly with the stuff that's going on. That, it's time for us to really for cisgender people to put some skin in the game. So I think I'll end on that note, and thank you very much for the opportunity. I wish I could have been on camera, but technology is what it is. So have a great rest of the day, and happy Pride, everybody.
No worries. Thanks, Robin.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robin. And it's okay. We have your amazing headshot on the website, so no worries. People can go check out your headshot. They can check out your website, which I will put in the chat. Really appreciate you being here. Back to you, Ellen.
Thanks so much.
Please
Take care.
take good care, Robin.